All right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Forgotten First. This is the video series I decided to put together just to talk about some of those character first appearances that you guys might have forgotten about. Either you might not have known them because they're so small and insignificant of a character that you weren't paying attention. Maybe they come into play somewhere down the line, maybe not. Maybe there was spec that hit a while back and now it's forgotten about again. These are just first appearances that are kind of low radar, under the radar types of picks that I just think are worth noting. Basically, cheap books, cheap first appearances that you can keep an eye out for out in your shops and out in those cheap boxes while you're out there hunting. Just things I just think are fun to just know about and just be aware of because you never know what you're going to run across. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as all the other stuff that I'm putting out over on Rennavision. Again, take a look at everything that I've got going on the channel. We have at least one thing happening every day, if not more than one thing at this point. And if you're enjoying it, please like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you don't miss any of this content. Tell a friend. Let's get the subscriber count up because I want to give something else away. We're getting close to 700, and I want to give away some more free books on the road to 1,000. So let's keep this momentum going and not lose any steam. Let's have some fun talking about comics, pop culture, toys, and video games and all that kind of fun stuff. Stuff that I love, at least. So just hang on for a second, and I got a few more first appearances that I want to share with you guys. Okay, so as I said, I got a couple of more first appearances to share this week. We're going to kind of bounce around a little bit, go between companies, not be too focused on Marvel, which I might be at times, but we're still going to start with a Marvel book. And the first book I have to talk about here is Venom 31. Now, there's a lot to go in with this character of Andi Benton. She has been a few characters already now at this point. In her short history, she first started out, you get introduced to Andi Benton in this issue number 31, and then a few issues later in issue 38, which I got sitting next to me right here, she becomes the symbiote character called Mania. Just almost a sidekickish, I guess, of sorts for the Flash Thompson era Venom. You know, that Agent Venom type of run that we had. So we had this character of Mania that she played for a while. And then not too long ago, she actually took on the symbiote for Scream. Here in the Absolute Carnage Scream miniseries, issue 3 there. She takes on that mantle as well. So she's the current Scream. So she has a lot of history here with the symbiotes, having been the host to 2 of them at this point now. But her first appearance of that character, Andi Benton, was in that Venom number 31. Now, that came out in February 2013. Print run estimates about 23,441 copies. So not a huge print run, but not like a minuscule one either. That's a solid run, but definitely not overproduced. Like, this isn't one of those big X-Men books or 100,000 copies where there's just tons out there. It's only 23, but at the same time, we're not talking about, this is no indie book either. So this is a relatively low Marvel print. Especially for the time, 2013, which was, we're getting near 10 years on now almost. That being said, this is a book that, it's still not cheap. This is on the higher end of what I'm looking at for this video series. This is about $20 right now. If you want to go and buy one out online, it's about a $20 buy-in for this book. And that's pretty close to the price that this thing will fetch as well. I mean, last one sold for $15, or at least June 22nd. As of June 22nd, one sold for $15 by it now. So you can see it's still relatively cheap. I'm not saying this thing's going to hit the moon. Who knows if we're going to get anything with this character, but I don't know what Sony's thinking with this, with their Venomverse, where they're going to go to next. Do you? So if you can find this thing for cheap, this is just one of those types of books I just want you to be aware of. I'm not saying this is good spec play. This is something you definitely go out and buy. Go pay market for this. Go spend $20 to go buy this book right now. I'm just saying, when you're out there digging, just know this Venom issue 31, 38, even an Absolute Carnage 3, these are books that have, I guess, a key moment in them. Just something you should just be aware of. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to tell you to go buy all this stuff because you can't. But just be aware of it, so if you do come across it for cheap, maybe then you just scoop it up, because then, the price is negligible. Now, my next 2 picks I'm going to kind of lean in on to the Suicide Squad. I don't know. I kind of like the most recent trailer for this Suicide Squad. Well, they're not even calling it Suicide Squad 2. They're just calling it The Suicide Squad. But I have a lot of faith in James Gunn, and I'm looking forward to this new movie. I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be kind of silly, a little bit irreverent, probably decent action. Don't think all these characters are going to make it out of there, but I'm definitely into it. But this book and this character came up last week before. I think it was actually prior to us actually filming the Comic News Weekly over on Simple Man's Comics, the little Tuesday show that I do with Brian and a couple of the fellas, where we just kind of go over that week's news. But somebody had brought up like this forgotten book. Like nobody thinks about Amanda Waller anymore. Like just kind of forgotten about her. Her book spiked when that first movie was coming out, but this Legends #1 is just something that nobody pays attention to anymore. It's like it had its day in the sun, and now it's back there in the shadows, all forgotten about. So again, just keep an eye on it. Just know that it exists. So when you come across it, and if it's like at a dollar bin, scoop it up, because it is first appearance of a character that still has some relevance both in the movies as well as in the comics. Like she will come back around as she plays an important role there, Amanda Waller. But I don't know. Amanda Waller she's not the flashiest character because she's not a superhero, but again, still an important character in this in the DC universe, basically. Now, this came out in 1986, so I can't get you a solid print run estimate. There's no source that I can find that I know of where I can get a print run on this, but I would imagine it's a lot because I have seen tons of these out there, tons and tons of these copies of these out there. Granted, a lot of them are beat up because it's 1986, but definitely not short printed. So this is not a hard to find book, but still one, again, I still think you should be aware for the first appearance that it has, I should say. But you look, it's not an expensive book. It's $8. You can buy one, $7.99 plus shipping. Buy it now, right now, if that's what you want and you want to buy one. It's not a huge buy-in for this book, but just something to be aware of. Even those that sell don't sell for all that much right now. $10, $9.99. One sold on June 24th. Not a huge sale. It's not going to make you tons of money if you find it. It's just, again, forgotten. This is a book that's just kind of ignored and forgotten. That's why I'm just bringing it up now, just to remind you all that it's out there. It exists. If you find it for cheap, maybe scoop it up and stash it away. Maybe it gets its day in the sun again. I don't know. But just trying to bring it back. Trying to bring it back to everyone's awareness to not forget about these books, that they still do have some importance in them. Some of these books that are just hiding away in these boxes, there are firsts within them that just deserve your recognition. That's all. Not saying they all need to be worth a ton of money or that these are all good spec plays. Again, I want to underline that. I'm not saying these are spec plays. I'm not telling you go out to buy all of these. I'm just letting you know what's going on in these books and kind of where they're at right now. So our final book is also kind of leaning into this Suicide Squad movie because, again, I like the trailer, and these characters all heated up like 2 years ago. When we got the announcement, and once we started figuring out who that cast was going to be, a lot of these books started to see a lot of increases because everybody was speculating on them then. But since now we're 2 years removed from all those announcements, as COVID has delayed a lot of the movies that were coming out into our theaters and whatnot, everybody's kind of forgotten about these again. So these books all went back into the background as other things kind of came to the forefront, more current speculation. Everybody's looking ahead, looking past, and this movie is not even out yet. We still got until August till this thing comes out. But that still gives you time because I feel like we might get another little blip again with some of these books as things start to heat up, as we start to see more promos, more commercials, people start getting excited. And if this movie is a hit, then there could be some lasting effect on some of these books and these first appearances. If some of these characters hit, because again, we don't know who's going to make it out of this. Most of these characters are probably going to die. We don't know. But that said, one more that I kind of want to talk about is Green Lantern number 173. I like this book just because it's the first appearance of Javelin. Silly character. I know. He's got a javelin. Like, how cool could he be? But it's got a Booster Gold kind of look with his outfit. But I'm intrigued by Falula Borg. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This actor, the smirk that he just walks and struts around with, he's probably going to die. Like, he's probably not going to make it out of this movie. Truth be told, I'm not expecting him to make it out of this. But I do expect him to make a lasting impression in the short time he spends on screen. I don't know. The dude just kind of makes me giggle. Maybe it's just the name. Maybe it's just his name that makes me giggle. But whatever be the case, this is just another book just to kind of keep an eye on. Print run again on this, I don't know. This is from November 1983, so no solid source for me to get you a print run number. Can't say I see a ton of these out there, but they're definitely in those back issue boxes and some of those cheap boxes, because not a lot of people collect old Green Lanterns. You know, not a lot of keys to be had in this era of the early 80s for our old Green Lantern. So don't know how many copies are out there, but this book is just like the Legends book. It's not that expensive. You want to buy one of these right now, $16, $15.99. It's not terrible. Again, I'm not saying you go and do it, but it's not awful. It's not going to break your back if you want one. It's affordable. But for how much can this thing sell for? You can still scoop this up for cheap if you're just patient and keep an eye out for it. Look, one bid, $5. So there are cheap copies even to be had online out there for these things. You just got to be patient and keep your eye out. So if you're looking, you can still get one. But this is just, again, remind you stuff to look for in the shops, in those cheap boxes, wherever you might be at a yard sale. And you're like, oh, look at this old Green Lantern run. Is there anything worth looking for in this stack? Oh, they got like issues in the 180s and 170s. Maybe 173s in there. That's kind of what my purpose of this is. Again, just make you aware of these comics and these first appearances. So when you're out there digging, you might be able to find these things because you're seeing books right in that era, right in that range. Hey, I know this title. There could be a book in here worth picking up for nothing or for very, very little. So those are my 3 books. Those are the 3 first appearances that I think that have been forgotten that just I want to bring attention back to. Feel free to make suggestions, comment. If there's any books that you'd like to see that you think is not getting any love as a good first appearance, let me know. I mean, maybe I'll feature it next time. Just like the Chasing Ghost videos that I do, I have a list of books I can do for this. I have a list of first appearances. This is the kind of stuff that I would have been covering in my regular dollar bin digging article, but just to go in a different direction, I figured I'd spin this off and do its own little thing. Because not all of these are dollar bin pickups. Some of them, again, like that Venom 31, it's a little bit pricier book. It's getting close to $20. So you're probably not going to find that in a dollar bin, but you might find it in a back issue bin for like $4.99 or something like that. Then it could be worth picking up for $5. But those are decisions for you to make yourself. Again, I'm not telling you to buy any of these. These are spec plays or anything like that. These are just characters I find mildly interesting and just want you to be aware of where their first appearances lie. So hopefully you're enjoying that. Hopefully you're enjoying this new series. And like, subscribe, comment again on the video down below. And, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you guys next time.